We've moved to Thursday. It's Thrive. I'm Jason.
I'm Rob Pats, and this is Thrive. We have moved to Thursday because we felt it just felt better. Thursday and Thrive felt better than Wednesday and Thrive.
Well, because we're getting closer to the weekend, and we always want to thrive on the weekends, right? As we push through this week,
exactly.
Really, it just sounded better.
It did. It was more for an aesthetic. Hey, thank you so much for last week, and what a great show we had. We appreciate each and every one of you that watch, whether you're watching on social media, watching live on Abundant TV, or wherever you happen to find us, even on X and other places like that. We are all over, and it is a lot of fun. I want to start with two things. We're gonna go two ways sports wise this morning. Of course, today actually official opening day for baseball. I don't, this is one thing that you and I have never really talked about. Are you a baseball?
We really haven't, Rob. But before we get into the sports here, man, I gotta say you look dapper with that sweater today. I still got my T-shirt on for he is king.life, but you're looking pretty snappy, pretty snazzy.
Well, this is the here in the state of Ohio, we are still in denial that spring is here. So obviously the weather has told us no, it's not. It's like 40 degrees today. So we.
I don't want to tell you, it's going to be 75 here.
Yeah, well, no, it's gonna get nice this weekend here in Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah,
no, Rob, he is king.life. Before we get into sports here, buddy, this. Great apparel, great shirts. He is king.life. Use the code ATV10 to get 10% off as you are part of our family with our viewership. The great sponsors, great partner with us, and awesome clothes. Rob, I still got to get you a couple of those shirts from those guys.
I do, and I would love to have like a long sleeve one. I'm one of those guys, and I never realized this. I was that guy in high school that wore like a hoodie and shorts. I did that.
High school, college, that was my normal attire.
Yes. So I'm also, though, a long sleeve. The other part that I realized living here again in the home of it could be 80 or it could be 20. I love long sleeve t-shirts because you can wear those with a pair of shorts and you kind of feel at least not like you're going to freeze to death or anything. So anyway, but yes, you're right. We should. Great t-shirts, great quality stuff. We don't thank the great folks there. And they do a great job.
The QR code there up at the top of the screen over on Rob's side, way over there. It'll stay up on the whole show. All right, Rob, we got some baseball. We really haven't ever talked about baseball. Baseball, I was a big fan of baseball growing up, but then things kind of soured on me here in Colorado as the Rockies just have never really done much. It's a great place to go watch a game, Coors Field, but
Coors Field,
and the team is they've struggled for quite a while.
I was trying to think back when they haven't struggled.
They made the World Series once.
Yes, which the Seattle Mariners, my team, has never made the World Series.
Wow, I did not know that. They've had some great players.
We've had great people and terrible management. That's pretty much it.
There's two things that I really when I think of Seattle Mariners, there's two things. You got King Griffey Jr., great player, greatest baseball swing ever. And then Randy Johnson, when he blew up the Seagull.
When he hit the bird. Yes. Of course, you got A-Rod. Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, A-Rod started there too. Yes, you're
A-Rod,
right. Those are the two that came to my mind. So.
Yeah, we've got those guys. And yes, Randy Johnson. I mean, he was amazing. I met Ken Griffey, is a little older than I am, and I met him at single A ball when he was in single A ball. He came down to rookie. They signed him to the contract. He came and signed, and so I have a signed picture and a jersey and stuff from him. You just knew, you could tell. Of course, he grew up in a baseball family, and so you just knew. And then I was very blessed a little later in life to be able to go to a lot of games, and to be able to do it in a certain manner, which meant I got my actual parking spot for most games was right next to Lou Piniella.
Hey, we don't need to get into that, Rob. That's just not nice.
Lou Piniella, if they lost, which thankfully they didn't lose a lot during that time, when he lost, you didn't even look. You made no eye contact.
No eye contact.
You just walked to your car like this and got into the parking deck and got out of there because his his spot was near. Now the players were down a floor from us, but all the the staff and stuff was on that floor. But anyway, so you got baseball now, and see if you notice, I've stalled this out because
I know
really
you've been pushing it off just because I understand. We talked about March Madness in our brackets last week.
Last
Rob,
week,
Rob, how is your bracket doing?
it did not do well. I want to say this because I don't want to ever be that guy, but I am going to be that guy.
Mhm.
I didn't always pick the one I thought would win. I picked for what I thought might be upsets.
Mhm.
And that didn't work very well. But yes,
No,
I'm now that guy making excuses about my team, my
Well, hey,
bracket.
who's winning our league with that, or our little bracket? Who is?
I have no
who's that?
idea who is winning that.
Oh, it's me.
It's
Okay, I
you.
gotcha.
I'm surprised you didn't have like a screenshot of the CBS.
I should have.
using
I should have
CBS
threw
for
that up there. Yeah.
yes. But I
But
was
yeah,
ahead
I have
for
12
most of the day one.
Mhm.
Because I did pick Creighton, which Jason did not.
I did
Which
not.
I can't believe he didn't. Creighton was hot at the time.
Mhm.
But yeah, the rest of it, and I did part of it. The part because there are certain teams I dislike, so I pick
I'm with you,
against
yeah.
them.
A little biased.
Whether I would. So there were a couple teams there I didn't pick. Man, the team that I picked against, and I should have known better because my radio station is in Alabama. Is Alabama? Those guys look legit.
They look real good. They look
Watch
real
part
good,
of the game.
My
They got
team
Duke.
still my team to win it all is still Duke. As we talked last week on that. But Rob, out of the 16 teams in the Sweet 16, I have 12 of them still rolling.
That's awesome.
Best I've ever done. I'm not gonna lie.
I think I've got like 8, and of course I picked Florida to win it all because I just felt different. I like we talked about last week. Can you cheer for a Blue Devil? I just don't know.
I know, right? I know.
Not
I
sure
get it. But they're a great team, aren't they?
I don't know. Does that mean he can't find air? Is that why he's blue? I don't know.
Oh, see, you got to go there.
Is the oxygen gone for the devil or what? I don't. Hey, there you go.
We still need a sponsor for razors. I'm just saying.
Yes, we do. Hey,
Harry's razors.
This is my new look for Thursdays. I've decided to stop shaving on Tuesday and just and I think it's partially lazy. I think that's part of it. I'm not totally sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm excited about our first guest today.
Rob, today we're gonna talk to a worship pastor. We're gonna do like a church service here. We got a worship pastor and then we got a bishop.
Yes,
it's gonna be amazing, Rob.
It is. Maybe we can get saved by the end of it. You never know.
Yes.
My wife found this first guy. I got to be honest with you. I don't know a huge amount about him, but my wife found him, and she is. You always listen to your wife. That's my big thing. Is you listen to your wife, and she saw this guy and went, "You got to have him on the show." So I reached out. I think she actually tagged me in a post that he had done. So we want to welcome this fine gentleman to the show, and he's a singer. And I believe you're a songwriter too, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna let Jason do the introduction because he does that so much better than I do.
Well, hey, Kevin, great to have you on the show. Kevin Christopher here. He's a faith-driven singer-songwriter whose music blends soul, storytelling, and worship with influence from songs are helping people draw closer to the Creator. He's a husband and father of 6 and a man on a mission to glorify God through music. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Oh, thank you. What an introduction. Wow, I got to live up to something here. Thank you, guys.
Exactly, brother. Like we talked about, doing some worship at the beginning, and we get onto the bishop. But man, I have been stuck on your song that you sent over to us, The Well. This song is incredible. Tell us about yourself before we get into the song. Like, how did you get into music? It's just been a lifelong thing. Like, because I
have been singing. I guess from the womb, but I say age 8. I've been in competitive jazz groups through high school and college. Then I turned into a community and professional theater actor. So I did lots and lots of musicals. I played Shrek. I was green like 6 months after the show was completed.
Just dyed skin
about that. And then I got into the wonderful world of just being a worship leader. And that has been my greatest gift. And that has propelled me into writing my own songs. So, here I am.
That is incredible. Like I said, the song that you sent over The Well, now you just kind of released this thing.
Yeah.
Man, this is amazing. And just the storytelling aspect of it, the words that you brought into there. How did this come about?
Wow. I'm going to start about a year ago. when you get to a certain age, you feel that maybe the dreams that you once had were maybe unattainable, or they're just kind of something that has passed you by.
Mhm.
But about a year ago, I just started betting on myself. I started running towards getting a little bit older than running away from it. And
Love it.
so, one of those things was really trying to go for a career in worship. And I had a lot of fun things that happened throughout the year. I lost 70 pounds,
Wow.
which was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Me and my wife rededicated to reading the Bible every day.
Mhm.
We read the whole Bible last year, and we're on, I think, day 95 or something. And now we've
Yep.
included 2 of our kids doing it this year.
That is amazing.
So it's just really drawn our family closer. And
Mhm.
then also, doing this career as a singer songwriter.
Mhm.
And this song came from actually just sitting down at a sermon, and our lead pastor just innocently said something about the woman at the well and moved on to another point. And I just started writing, and I started writing. And I got writing so much that my wife was distracted and was like, "What are you writing about? He's not even talking." And in that sermon, in 15 minutes, I wrote The Well.
Mhm.
I not only wrote it, but I visualized how it would look in a music video. I visualized instrumentally how it would sound. It was just like God poured into
Was
me
it
in that
Holy
moment.
Spirit
And it
download?
was like, this is the song that you need to give out. And I mean, I was never a songwriter at all. I thought that
Mhm.
that was something that I would never do. I always made a career of singing other people's songs.
Mhm. Mhm.
But it was just something the Lord just gave me, and it's been a blessing not only to me, but sounds like it's becoming a
Yeah.
blessing for other
It
people that have
it's
listened
it's
to it. So that's
amazing,
great.
brother. This is just a Holy Spirit download. That was incredible. So,
Oh, Holy Spirit download.
see?
Jason, I love that. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
completely. Just hits you and it just pushes you to write something like that and just hit it, and
Yeah.
that's the only way to explain it, right?
Yes.
So that is incredible. I want to talk about a little bit of your background because you've been influenced by a wide range
Yes.
of artists and genres and all these things. So how do you blend that into your style of worship?
Yeah. When I first became a worship leader, I felt that I had to kind of fit into a certain mold,
Hmm.
of how that worked. But relying on my backstory and being in jazz, and being in competitive jazz, and being able to sing with the likes of Manhattan Transfer and Bobby McFerrin on stage, and
Oh, that's
my
cool.
theater background with that sort of elevated style of singing, that maybe some would think that would not transfer into worship. I just
Mhm.
said, this is me. This is all of me. The Lord gave me these gifts. And I just said, I'm just going to infuse everything that I've learned and bring it to the Lord. And so that's just kind of how it evolved.
That's so cool. With today's digital age of music, and it's really cool that we're seeing faith-based music. It's gaining a lot of traction online.
Yes.
We're seeing
Amen.
things in mainstream genres and country music and different things. How do you stay true to your message? When you're navigating in this, because of course the enemy can take these things and change them as we want. But how do you
Yeah.
stay true to your message?
It's funny that you ask, because about 7 or 8 months ago, when I started really in the early stages of starting this journey about kind of betting on myself and
Mhm.
seeing where I could be as an artist, there were a lot of people in my ear saying, Kevin, um, you know, while I know that you love the Lord and you are a worship leader, there are maybe not that big of an audience for you there. But if you use what you have in your background and your bag of tricks, and maybe do some jazz, R&B, some pop, and initially I was like, okay, well, maybe, I am faith based, but maybe I can just go that route. And the Lord was just saying, no, this is not where you need to be. But
Mhm.
the absolute day that I said, you know what, I'm going to be a faith based singer, no matter what, I want to put the message out of the Lord. And that day, doors started opening up. I started writing music that I thought I never could, and it was all faith based, but it was just staying true to who you were and staying in your lane, no matter what fame or riches could come from
Yeah.
another lane.
Mhm.
That's what I did. And once I made that decision to be a worship artist, 100%, God was
That is
blessed.
That is amazing. And I know you've said your prayer is, to help people get closer to God. And I know your message, your worship music, all of your songs, it does this and it helps within that.
Yes.
One thing is, our shows thrive with Rob and Jason here. We're talking about thriving and in life and different things on there. You're a husband and a dad of 6. So 6. I have 4. Tell me about your family.
Well, we run the gamut. We have our oldest boy is 25, and our youngest are 9-year-old twins.
Oh, geez.
So,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So me and
You're like me. Yeah.
I upgraded in life. My beautiful, beautiful bride that we are high school sweethearts.
Amazing.
And we got married pretty young, and we had our first 2. And we thought life was great. But about 2009, my wife got cancer, and we went through that battle of cancer. Thank the Lord that she's 100% cured. But we thought life was too short. In that moment, we actually got saved, and we became believers through that the aftermath of that trial. And we said, hey, what's one more? We're too young, life is too short. So we had 1. And then we, of course, said, well, that one needs a friend, just like the other 2 had a friend. So that was 4. And then God was so funny that he just put a period, exclamation point on everything and gave us twins at the end. So,
God's humor, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, by the time that my youngest children are of age, me and my wife will probably be in diapers. But
I'm with you. I have a 20-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. So yes.
Okay, so you feel my pain, Jason.
I do.
Yes.
Well, our audience. I put up the QR code here where you guys can find Kevin. It's his website. You can check out his music. Check everything out on here. Yeah, right there. Rob's actually he's moving away from it. That's amazing.
And you can connect with my song, where you can stream the song, stream the music video, which is amazing. You can see my website. We also have another website called mywellstory.org, where the conversation doesn't stop.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't see that one.
Where people can pray, have a sense of fellowship with one another, and there's biblical vetted places that they can get help and counseling. So
amazing.
It's great.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Kevin.
Thank you guys.
Rob, Kevin is amazing here. As you heard the story here, you got to hear this song, The Well.
I have. I've heard it multiple times.
It's amazing. The story, the way he wrote it, Holy Spirit download.
Totally, and it'll be on the network this weekend. You'll be able to see it throughout the weekend, and we're super excited for Kevin. This next gentleman, I love this. I love his story. I'm super excited to have this gentleman with us. I didn't know a lot about his ministry until his team reached out to us, and we are super excited to have him here with us. And he just looks super cool. He looks like the guy that would be like the survivalist guy that you could like. You could that if the world ended,
I want him on my side.
Find the bishop, and he would take care of me.
Yes. Well, hey, Rob, our next guest is Bishop Daniel, president of GFA World and Bishop of the Believers Eastern Church. He leads one of the most impactful global mission improvements today, supporting national missionaries and overseeing powerful compassion projects like the new hospital GFA is building in Rwanda. Please welcome Bishop Daniel. Bishop Daniel, thank you for being on the show.
Well, it's good to be here. Thank you so much. I don't know if I can save you from the end of the world, but I can cook a good cup of chai. I can help with that. That's what I can do.
Hey, you can save us from the end of the world. You can preach us the gospel like we talked about. We got a worship. Yes. We got you on here, right? So yes.
So I've got a question to ask Bishop. What got you involved in helping missionaries? Where was that moment for you that you went, this is something I want to do?
Well, I mean, my story is my father and mother were the founders of the ministry. Over 40 years ago. It started with a small prayer meeting in their living room. They would invite their friends over and say, would you just pray with us for God's direction? They put the maps of different countries out and just begin praying. Both my parents had been involved in missions for many years. My dad from the age of 16. He just recently departed to be with the Lord about a year ago. And so that's now I've stepped into the presidency. But so I grew up in the ministry. I grew up on the mission field. I've kind of grown up in two different cultures at the same time. It's given me a very interesting perspective. I understand the East. I understand the West. But from a very young age, I knew that God was calling me also to serve in ministry along with GFA World. And of course, God is very faithful to slowly lead us and not to kind of throw everything at us at the same time. If he does that, usually it scares us away. And so he kind of tricks us into things, but it is a joy and a privilege for me to be able to have grown up on the mission field, but also to be here to see GFA really be the bridge between the church and the West, seeing the Great Commission fulfilled all around the world.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Here's the QR code for the GFA, which you guys can check this out. Check out Bishop Daniel. This hospital project is incredible. I'd love for you to talk about that. Tell us about that whole, what you guys are doing in Rwanda, the impact that you want to have in the local community, all those things, because this is incredible.
Yeah, through our ministry for 40 years, primarily we focused on 4 different areas. One is national missionaries, people from their own country who know the language, like the bugs, like the climate, like the food, can easily connect with people, helping children to have a future through our child sponsorship program, community transformation. So different things that we do within the community to uplift the community, but also see people come to Christ. And then disaster relief, tsunamis, earthquakes, things that just seem to happen every year. And so those are kind of the 4 primary areas that we serve in. But the medical missions has always been something that we've been part of for 40 years. Medical camps. We have our hospital in Asia, and we have thousands and thousands of patients that come through there, giving us opportunities to share Christ's love. But the Lord has opened the door for us in Rwanda to build a second hospital. And the purpose of this hospital in the medical college is to be a bridge to reach all of Africa. I mean, we're already talking about going into about 11 other countries. Rwanda does actually have hospitals, but people wait 6 months to 7 months just for an MRI. But the purpose of this is to provide opportunities for us to be able to train people to go into all of Africa to bring Christ's love. And so the hospital project is underway. We have a little bit still to go, but this is an exciting opportunity. Over 1 billion people in Africa, many of them have never heard about Christ even one time. And, I remember traveling on the mission field, and you stop in a village and you ask someone, hey, do you know Jesus Christ? And they literally will respond something like this. Listen, I've lived here my whole life. My friends are here. My family's here. Your friend Jesus is not here. Check the next village down this road. Maybe you'll find your friend Jesus. They literally have no idea. And so GFA World's heart and passion is to bring the gospel of Christ to places that literally have never heard, see churches established and people established in the faith. This is our heart and our passion.
Yeah, the Great Commission. That is incredible. One story in particular that, in talking with you and talking with your team and things that I want to talk to you about and ask about is you did share an incredible story about a baby girl named Saida. Please don't, I might butcher that, I apologize. But can you tell us more about that and how it reflects GFA's mission? Because that was incredible.
There's lots of children's stories that we have. I think Zaina's one. The one that kind of really impacted me is Little Naboon. Little Naboon was part of our child sponsorship efforts in a community, and he was hearing about the stories of Christ healing the blind man and raising the leper, healing the leper and raising the lame man. And so he would go home and tell these stories to his dad. And so his dad showed up one day, knocked on the door of our missionary's house, and said, "Excuse me, do you have a Dr. Jesus here?" And our missionary said, What are you talking about, Dr. Jesus? Like, well, my son keeps talking about Dr. Jesus healing the blind man and healing the leper and healing the lame man. And he's like, my wife is really sick at home. Could you please send Dr. Jesus to my home? And you're talking way out in the really remote areas where, you can go 400 miles and not see a clinic. This is way, way out. This is how the mission field really is. And so our missionary kind of understood who he's talking about, Little Naboon. And so he went to the house, explained the gospel to the family, prayed for the mother. The Lord healed her. The whole family gave their hearts to Christ. The neighbors heard about it and said, we want to know more about Jesus. And a church was established in that village because of that simple boy bringing the heart of Dr. Jesus to his home. But this happens all over the mission field. One of our missionaries was going to a house and, as they normally do, visiting the houses. And is there anything we can do? Pray for you. They said, yes, someone is sick in our home. And so they led him through the house. And on the backside of the house, there was a sick water buffalo. And they said, can you please pray for our water buffalo? It makes sense. You milk the water buffalo, sell the milk, but that's your money for food.
And so
So our missionaries laid his hand on the water buffalo and said, Lord, if there's ever a time to do something, this is the time. And the Lord healed that water buffalo.
That is incredible.
The family gave their hearts to Christ. The neighbors heard about it and said, what is this? Who is this God that heals water buffaloes? We want to know about this. A church was literally planted in that village because of a stinky water buffalo that God healed. This is happening all over the mission field. Book of Acts is alive. It is active. God is doing his work. And we are so excited to be part of what God is doing, seeing literally tens of thousands of people, men, women, and children, lives changed and communities established in Christ.
Man, the miracles are still happening today. God is still alive. He is ever present here. This is so cool that you are boots on the ground with what you guys do, being able to see this work and being able to see these miracles, and they need to be spread. Like you said, these things are showing that the gospel is real and people are coming to Christ because of this. That is amazing. I want you to say something to our audience here about, why is sponsoring national missionaries such a powerful and strategic way for people to support the Great Commission?
Yeah, I think a couple of things. Whenever I get a chance to speak at a church or talk to people, there's three very specific things that I encourage people to think about missions, because people think about missions as something for missionaries and pastors, kind of like far away and, where they have the old like pith helmet, boiling the soup, type of mentality. But practically, what I would encourage people is get this book. It's Revolution World Missions. If they head off to the link and just search for a free book, you can get this book. It's the story of missions. But the power of national missionaries is this. About 80% of the countries in parts like the 1040 window. So when you look at a map and you have the latitude 10 and 40, it kind of is a rectangular block that shows the most unreached areas in the entire world. But about 80% of those nations are closed for outsiders to come in as missionaries. You can go as a doctor, a teacher, a business person, and do ministry on the side, but you can't go in as a missionary. But the question is this: how can these people hear about Christ? What's the most effective way? If it's for you to go, great. But a lot of times it's raising up national missionaries, people from their own country who love their people, who know the language, who live at the level of the people. They just need prayer and support to come alongside of them. In a sense, we proxy with them. We become part of their ministry. So national missionaries is one of the most effective and fastest ways to see the gospel spread in many of these nations. And so our part is this: we can stand with them in prayer and support. We can be praying for them. We can enable them to be able to go and bring the gospel to places that we can't even go to. And so the Great Commission can be part of our daily life, not just something far, far away.
That is incredible. And our audience, they're great with prayer. They're great with giving. They're great with all of these things. So guys, pray for Bishop Daniel, pray for GFA, pray for everything that they're doing in the missionary field. This is some incredible stuff, Rob.
I love the story about the water buffalo. I got to be honest with you. If that doesn't make you excited as a Christian, nothing will. I'm like pumped. I think that's incredible. Thank you so much, Bishop, for what you're doing. And missionary work is incredible. Incredible. Your ministry is incredible in what you're doing.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for being on the show, Bishop.
It is another great day. Why does it go by so fast? It just goes by way too fast, my friend.
It does, Rob. Every week that we do this, we have so much fun. The guests that we get to talk about or talk with and go over what their stories are and how they're working, in the missionary fields and with God. It's incredible that we get to do this, Rob.
It is, and to see the impact, and like he was talking about the 1040 window and so much. I remember as a kid praying for the 1040 window in church. So just another incredible day. Good stuff going on. Hey, listen, if you have a prayer request or anything like that, always reach out to us here. We talk and have fun, but we also are very serious about how amazing God is, and how incredible he is to us and how real he is to Jason and I. And if you're watching and maybe you're going, I don't believe this stuff, or I've been searching and I want to know more about what it is to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, I want to encourage you. Reach out to us. Jason, I would love to talk to you. We would love to have a time. There's no judging, nothing like that. We want to talk. Just look at us. I mean, God loves us and we're major mess ups.
Very true, Rob. Very true.
And so we appreciate you. And you know what? We appreciate everyone that watches every